What's up, everyone? Today, I'm going to hit you with some news stories that I personally like, but are not getting a lot of love in the media. Let's dive right into the RooneyBin. North Korea launches suspected ICBM for the first time since 2017 per NBC News. Now, this story is getting some love, but I've been tracking this story since China reached out to North Korea several weeks ago and started working on their relations, and I believe that empowered North Korea to fire this missile off. So had that not happened, I'm not sure they do this. But anyways, North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time since 2017. Officials in Japan are pissed, and they said this is a major escalation of tensions over its weapons program. Japan's top government spokesman, Chief Cabinet Secretary, said the missile appeared to be a new kind of ICBM, since it flew much further than the last ICBM North Korea tested in November of 2017. They said, "It is absolutely unacceptable that while the world is responding to the Russians' aggression against Ukraine, North Korea would unilaterally escalate tensions against the international community by conducting this launch." The launch ended self-imposed moratorium on testing ICBMs and nuclear weapons that North Korea declared in 2018 ahead of diplomatic talks with the United States that ultimately collapsed. The country is barred from testing nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles under United Nations Secretary Council resolutions. So, like I said before, I think anyone paying attention probably saw this coming. Next, Business Insider said Elon Musk SpaceX hikes Starlink internet costs because of inflation. So now new customers that want to get Starlink will have to pay an upfront cost of $710. Damn, looks like I'm not getting Starlink. I can't afford that. Tesla opened its German factory. Tesla christened its new German manufacturing facility the company's first European plant. The Berlin plant will help Tesla grow and can improve profit margins. CEO Elon Musk said on Twitter Monday that localizing production helps capital efficiency. Along with profit, that would also mean Tesla can operate with less inventory because cars wouldn't have to be exported from the US and China to meet European demand. More car news? The new hybrid Hyundai Sonata has solar cells built into the roof. After baking in the sun all day, the car can add 3 to 4 miles to its range. That might sound underwhelming, but some EVs actually discharge far more than 3 to 4 miles per day just sitting parked and doing whatever a Tesla does when it's not being driven around. I think it's funny how they go after Tesla, of course. I can only assume that, given its power consumption while doing nothing, it is becoming self-aware, developing feelings, and writing love haikus to Elon Musk. Now, let me just say, having said all that, I would still buy a Tesla. Sonata went on to say that their hybrid solar panels have a capacity of 204 watts to be exact. Panels exposed to the sun in good sunlight will produce 200 watts of electricity. Hyundai writes on its website, "Fair enough, 200 watts is nothing, but in the context of electric cars, 200 watts is not exactly impressive either. A high-speed home charger on a 50-amp circuit breaker can charge at 9.6 kilowatts, almost 50 times faster than the pathetic little solar cells baked into the roof of the Sonata." But Hyundai continues to argue that charging for 5.8 hours per day adds only 1,300 kilometers per year to the total driving distance. So do the math. And it turns out that you're lucky to add even 2.5 miles per day to your range. If you are able-bodied and your commute is less than 2.5 hours or 2.5 miles or less, you should probably be walking. It would be better for the environment, your health, and just general transportation infrastructure. But there are plenty of people out there who do drive less than 2.5 miles per day. And even if weather patterns are good and the weather is nice and sunny, it's a clear day, people still drive their cars. So you don't need a significant amount of miles. And it wouldn't be horrible if the vehicle you parked had the same or slightly more battery power after a few days of sitting around idle. So it kind of sounds like a good idea. We'll have to see how it works out. Maybe Tesla in the future will adopt something like that too. Next, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon reportedly told President Biden the U.S. must increase domestic energy production and called for Europe to end its reliance on Russian oil. So JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon told President Biden the U.S. must ramp up its energy production, according to a report from Axios. He urged the administration to develop a modern-day Marshall Plan to boost domestic energy. Dimon also called for more liquefied natural gas production in Europe and less reliance on Russian imports. At a closed-door White House summit with top executives, he urged the Biden administration to develop a modern plan, Marshall Plan, to boost domestic energy. Dimon also pushed for investments in technologies like hydrogen power and carbon capture. We have a historic set of ideas on the table for investment in the U.S. energy sector, which would strengthen our security and make the U.S. more resilient to action by leaders like Putin, a White House official told Axios. Those ideas are concrete, and we welcome engagement from all those who would join us in driving investments to strengthen our energy sector. So, this one's kind of interesting. The richest man in Africa just opened up the continent's biggest fertilizer plant. He says people are begging him to sell crop nutrients as sanctions against Russia disrupt our supply. On Tuesday, the richest person in Africa opened the continent's largest fertilizer plant. And if you didn't know, Russia was actually the largest producer of fertilizer. So the new Nigeria plant is opening, and it comes because of these disruptions in the fertilizer supply, and that is due to the sanctions on Russia. So, airlines are getting sick of these mandates, like a lot of us are. Airline CEOs call on Biden to lift mask mandate, COVID test requirement for all air travel. The Biden administration should lift its mask mandate and COVID testing requirements for air travels, 10 CEOs of U.S. passenger and cargo airlines said in a letter released on Wednesday. The administration currently requires travelers flying into the U.S. from abroad to present a negative COVID test prior to takeoff. Additionally, the Transportation Secretary Administration extended a mask mandate for all public transportation, including air travel. On March 18th, the mask mandate is set to expire April 18th. Signatories of the letter included American Airlines CEO Douglas Parker, Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian, Southwest Airlines CEO Gary Kelly, and United Airlines head Scott Kirby. The science clearly supports lifting the mask mandate, as demonstrated by the recently released CDC framework indicating the 99% of U.S. population no longer needs to wear masks indoors, the airline CEOs said in the letter. It makes no sense that people are still required to wear masks on airplanes, yet are allowed to congregate in crowded restaurants, schools, and sporting events without masks, despite none of these venues having the protected air filtration systems that an aircraft does. Next, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem signs anti-critical race theory into law, citing discomfort. So, South Dakota's Governor Kristi signed this legislation that would ban public universities in the state from using training material that could possibly cause racially based discomfort, according to The Hill. So, in this statement, Governor Noem said, no student or teacher should have to endorse critical race theory in order to attend, graduate from, or teach at a public university. College should remain a place where freedom of thought and expression are encouraged, not stifled by political agendas. If you still do not know what critical race theory is, it aims to look at how racism has modeled every part of American society, such as public policy, institutions, such as the justice system. It looks at how those policies and institutions were made to conserve the social, economic, and political inequalities between white people and people of color. So this legislation bans critical race theory indoctrination in South Korea's public universities. The legislation strengthens civil rights laws to prohibit racial scapegoating, collective guilt, and racial abuse by teachers and administrators. And there goes another day in the U.S. For more content like this, please hit that like button, don't hit it too hard, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for stopping by and jumping in the RooneyBin with me. Have a great day. JRooneyShow.